Alex, give us a Keqing guide, please. Okay, let's go. Hey, what's up guys? This is Alex from NotCasuals, and today we're going to bring you guys our updated Keqing guide. She's now fully geared in level 90. Keqing will be available in the upcoming event character banner shortly after Xiao's banner expires. It will be a great time for you Keqing mains to do some pulls if you wish to acquire additional constellations, or simply if you want to have a chance of obtaining Keqing if you don't already have her.
No, don't do it! No, no, don't do it!
満開千本桜影石
Whoops.
Now back to your regularly scheduled program.
Now, before we get started with the Keqing guide, I just want to say that Keqing is a character that can be played in many different type of builds. Personally, I really like to run either an Electro or physical build, depending on the weapon that you use. Right now, I'm using a black sword, which I really enjoy using on her. But if I had an Aquila, for example, I would really 100% run her as a physical DPS build. You can do physical damage cup. You can do an Electro damage cup. You can even run her as a Cryo damage cup with a 4-piece Blizzard set if you were running Chong, basically. So there's a lot of different type of builds you can do with your Keqing. The ultimate question on Keqing is what type of build you should be running, I think. Personally, I think it's based on preference. I'd really like Electro for Abyss purposes. If you want like a main DPS that really has a high single target DPS, I would do a charge attack with physical Keqing instead. You could also go gimmicky builds with Cryo or Pyro if you have a C6 Bennett, stuff like this. But it's really based on your opinion. I think that they're all very good. And so for Keqing's weapon, obviously if you have a 5-star weapon, it would be the optimal choice most likely, especially if it's an Aquila Favonia. If you're only using 4 stars, the black sword is an amazing choice because of the high crit rate and this effect over here. You can also run a flute if you want to, since it has very high base attack. Lion's War can be considered a decent option because of the high attack as well. I'm not too sure about the Bane and Fire and Thunder effect, as in it can sometimes be used, sometimes it's not, because enemies are going to be purged of the electro effect if you do elemental reactions such as overload and such, but it can be a decent weapon. Could also use a prototype Rancor if you're doing a physical Keqing and you don't have an Aquila. Weapons I would stay away from would be the Sack Sword and the Favonius. Personally, I would avoid these. You could consider using a Festering Desire, but personally I don't think that it's a weapon that I would use on her, just because I don't think she needs the energy recharge that much. The effect could be useful, but that's where it stops. Now, do keep in mind that my talents on my Keqing are not extremely high because she never was my main DPS. She was my basically second Abyss team leader. So basically, yeah, just level up the basics as much as possible, and then, you know, the other ones, depending on her role. If she plays more like a burst role in your team, depending on your team comp. Now, personally, one thing that I have mixed opinion about Keqing is her basic attacks. I think that they're fairly fast and her attack patterns are cool, but there's a lot of movement in there, and sometimes it's nice, sometimes it's not. It is something based on personal opinion, so some of you guys will love it, some of you guys may hate it. It also depends if you plan to do a lot of charge attacks with your Keqing or not. The normal attacks is going to be something that's going to be probably your highest level because it's going to be your bread and butter as a main DPS. Unless you use her as a support, then, you know, Starward Sword is going to be very important, more if you use your Keqing as a support burst, which is unlikely but still viable. Now for her Stellar Restoration, which is her E ability, she basically throws a lightning stiletto, which she can teleport to if you press again the second time. Now you can also place it down and then do charge attack on it if you want to infuse yourself with electro damage, or you can just tap E twice and you're going to teleport to it and infuse your damage as electro. It might not be optimal to use E twice, but some people like me are pretty lazy and do it. So if you rapidly want to change your damage to electro, it's something you can do. The ult is also electro based damage. It does a massive AoE damage and many multi-strikes, which is pretty satisfying to use, but the range is somewhat limited, so you need to be careful of your positioning here. What's great about it is that the energy cost and cooldown are both extremely low, which makes it very easy to have this ultimate very often. Whenever you're going to use Starward Sword, your ultimate, your crit rate is going to increase by 15%, and your energy recharge is also going to be increased by 15% for 8 seconds, so it's going to be useful to, you know, engage and open up with the ultimate whenever you can.
And now back to your regularly scheduled program.
Now for Keqing's artifact, the hardest question for Keqing, it's going to depend on your playstyle. If you want a main DPS single fire focus, maybe 2-piece Bloodstain, 2-piece Gladiator could be an option if you do a lot of char attacks as a physical Keqing. If you're not really doing a lot of char attacks, you could consider doing 4-piece Gladiator instead with a physical damage cup. If you prefer to play an Electro Keqing, then you can definitely go 2-piece Thundering Fury and 2-piece Gladiator. It's going to be very viable. You could even consider possibly 4-piece Thunder Suitor, although I think it's a more dangerous avenue because of the requirement for the damage boost. 4-piece Blizzard can also be considered, assuming you're teaming your Keqing with a Chong, just so that you apply Chong, then you change your damage to Cryo, and then you run basically on a 4-piece Blizzard set. You could also do 2-piece Blizzard and 2-piece Gladiator. And the reason why this is actually decent on Keqing is that since she is not a Claymore user, she will not apply Shatter, and thus she will not break the ice from your Chong whenever you froze enemies and everything. So running a double Cryo plus Blizzard Keqing is actually a good setup that you could be running. Now for the artifacts, I think that one of the most important thing for Keqing is going to be to run an attack percentage sense piece, a electro damage or physical damage, or crowd damage cup, depending on the type of Keqing that you're going to run. Now for the crown, it would either be crit damage or critical rate, depending on whatever you need the most. Right now I am using a black sword, so my crit rate is fairly high. So I am able to run a crit damage helmet to compensate this, basically. So this is what's going to determine what type of helmet you use. Another great thing about Keqing is that she fits extremely well in burst team comps and consistent DPS team comps. Whether you use Bennett Mona's Lonely combo or you want to run official Shingshu Albedo combo, she is going to be extremely useful. Keqing is a very good main DPS character, and it's very nice to be able to have so much freedom on how we build her. As a reminder guys, we stream every single day. Feel free to come hang out with us. We also have a Discord with over 5,000 users. You should join it if you want to participate to upcoming giveaways and be kept up to date with content. I hope that you guys enjoyed this character guide, and thank you for watching. Have a good day.